The town of Aethelgard didn't vanish from the map. It simply vanished from time. It stood in a valley so deep and shrouded in mist it seemed to be cradled in the very palm of oblivion. Outsiders might have seen a cluster of gray stone and timber, a steeple piercing the fog, and thought it simply a dreary, remote place. But in Aethelgard, something profound had happened at the stroke of noon on a Tuesday some 80 years ago, though no one who lived there knew exactly which Tuesday. The change wasn't sudden or violent. It was a creeping stillness. A grandfather clock in the town hall stopped with its pendulum frozen mid-swing, the hands locked at 12 hour. The tailor, Elias Thorne, had been halfway through cutting a bolt of emerald velvet. His shears rested eternally on the cloth, forever a millimeter from the final snip. A little girl, Alara, was chasing a wooden hoop down the cobblestone main street. The hoop remained upright, a perfect circle of suspended motion, halfway between her and a chipped water trough. Even the dust motes caught in the single shaft of sunlight that managed to pierce the valley mist hung in the air like tiny golden stars. The people of Aethelgard did not age. They did not hunger, they did not sleep. They were not statues. They could move, speak, and think. But their existence was a monotonous loop, played over an infinite present. Every morning, the baker, a man named Finn, would take a loaf of perfectly baked sourdough out of his oven, which was always warm but never hot. He would place it on the cooling rack next to the 1,500 loaves he had baked on previous mornings, which were exactly the same. He'd open his shop and the mayor, Mr. Hemlock, would walk by, tipping his hat with the exact same slow, practiced gesture he had used the day before. "Good morning, Finn," the mayor would say. "Good morning, Mr. Hemlock, fine day," Finn would reply. The conversation never progressed. The day never progressed. They were all caught in the echo of a single moment. Their memories were fuzzy, frayed at the edges. They knew they were alive, but the concept of yesterday or tomorrow was a meaningless sound. The only thing that anchored them was their routine, a series of actions that repeated with the terrifying precision of a machine. One day, a cartographer named Kale, lost and desperate for shelter, stumbled into the valley. He was a man obsessed with filling in the blank spaces on the map, and Aethelgard was the most baffling blank space he had ever encountered. He entered the town square and was immediately struck by the silence. It wasn't the silence of emptiness, but the deafening hush of potential that had been indefinitely postponed. He saw the frozen hoop, the shears, the clock. As he watched, Finn the baker emerged from his shop. "Good morning," Kale called out, his voice sharp and loud in the absolute quiet. Finn stopped. His eyes, usually placid and blue like glass marbles, fixed on Kale with a strange, ancient confusion. "Good morning, sir," Finn said, the word "sir" being the first deviation from his script in 80 years. Kale saw a flicker in the baker's eyes, a ripple in the placid water of his mind, a crack in the eternal present. "What day is it?" Kale asked, his heart beginning to pound. Finn furrowed his brow. He looked at the perfect sourdough, then at his hands, which were smooth and unlined. "It is noon," he said, as if the hour was the only concept of time that truly mattered. Kyle realized the truth. The town wasn't just forgotten by the world, it had forgotten the world. It was a museum of a Tuesday that refused to become a Wednesday. He didn't stay long. The stillness was oppressive, the perfection of the suspended moment terrifying. As he turned to leave, he glanced back. He saw Finn the baker slowly, mechanically, put the new loaf on the rack. The mayor walked by, tipping his hat. "Good morning, Finn," the mayor said. "Good morning, Mr. Hemlock. Fine day," Finn replied, the flicker of confusion already gone, the ancient loop reasserting its hold. Kale left Aethelgard, but the image of that eternal noon, the feeling of time pressing against a wall it could not pass, haunted him. He never put Aethelgard on his maps. He knew that to chart it would be to give it a place in the flow of history, and Aethelgard had chosen to have no history at all. It remained a whisper in a forgotten valley, a tomb where the inhabitants were still alive, eternally waiting for the moment to pass. What do you think was the reason the time stopped in Aethelgard?